Okay, guys, welcome back to Blake's Pai Sho Academy. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You'll see here that I am currently in Pai Sho Playground playing against Human Child. And today I'm going to be playing a game that is still in development, but I think it deserves some attention because I played it before and I've enjoyed it a lot. So this game is called Grand Vagabond. And it's similar to Vagabond Pai Sho. It builds off of the same rules. And the goal of the game by the creator of Gold was to just make Vagabond better because, as you might know, Vagabond is a flawed game. It has some things that do not work. So this game is trying to fix those things, and I think it does a pretty good job at it from the games I've played so far. So I am guest. In Grand Vagabond, host goes first, and Human Child has played a Sky Bison. The Sky Bisons work pretty much the same way as they do in normal Vagabond, but they do not have the territory feature. So for my turn, I think I'm going to just be playing a Bison as well. I'm just going to copy Human Child for now. I haven't played this game in a while, so I'm probably not going to be very good at it, and I haven't played since the Lion Turtles were introduced, which I'll explain once they come into play. But I'm looking forward to this. I think this will be a lot of fun. I just kind of wanted to make this video to showcase this variant because I think it's pretty cool and has a lot of potential to eventually, I don't want to say replace Vagabond, but it'd be cool to have it as an alternate option. So has a lot of the same things as normal Vagabond. There are the wheels, which move the same. There are the Badgermoles, which work the same. The Lotuses that work the same. The only thing that's different with the Lotuses is you cannot move any of your tiles until you've placed your Lotus on the board. So I can't move the Sky Bison until I've placed my Lotus. And no capturing at all can occur until both Lotuses have been placed on the board. So you'll see there's a lot of new tiles as well. Chrysanthemums are a little bit different in that they freeze every single non-flower tile. So any tile that's not a flower, the chrysanthemum will freeze, not just the Sky Bison. And a small change to the Fire Lily. The Fire Lily cannot be captured until the dragon is captured. So there's no getting rid of the Fire Lily to making the dragon useless. The Jasmines are very basic tiles. They just move one space, diagonally or orthogonally. Up, down, left, right, diagonally. Okay, so Human Child's planting another Bison. I really don't know what the strategy is. I'm going to be trying my best here, but I don't have much experience. I remember I had some strategies when I last played this game, but it's been a while, and things have changed. Okay, yes, as I thought, the Rhododendron are also deployed in the gates, so I'm going to be taking this last gate so Human Child can't get it. Now I'm going to be planting a Rhododendron instead of a Bison. The Rhododendron moves like a wheel, so along these lines, but it can only move 4 spaces, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The advantage is, though, that it can turn when moving, which is something the wheel cannot. So it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So it effectively controls all of these spaces, which can be very handy. I remember liking the Rhododendron a lot and it being a powerful tile. Actually, it can't go here. It can only go 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think it's a very good tile, and I like having some diversity in my tiles and not just having 2 Bison, like Human Child does. So another basic rule just about the game in general with Grand Vagabond is once you have 10 tiles on the board, on your next move you must place your Lotus. So there's no stalling in this game. You can only stall for so long because once you place a tile you cannot move it. So the only moves you have until you get your Lotus on the board is placing tiles. Essentially by your 11th move you're going to have placed your Lotus on the board. So no matter what, you're going to have to end up placing your Lotus on the board. That was a problem with Vagabond. Normal Vagabonds, it's not something you run into a lot because people generally have good sportsmanship and don't play like that. But in Vagabond, theoretically, you could just completely stall out your opponent, never place your Lotus, and make the game unable to ever end. Which I don't know why anyone would realistically do that, but it is a flaw in the game's rules. That should not be something possible in my opinion. Because potentially, you get into a losing position before you place your Lotus. This isn't something I would see a lot because I always place my Lotus very early on. But if you're a player not to immediately place your Lotus, you can get into a losing position, and then the optimal play would just be to never place your Lotus. And that is just really not great in my opinion. I haven't seen anyone do that, but it is an option, and something that it shouldn't be an option. So let's go over a couple of the other tiles really quick. I explained the rhododendron, and dragon works the same, fire lily pretty similar. So let's talk about the roses. The roses move kind of interestingly. So let's say a rose is here, right? It can go 1, 2. It can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. So a rose can move to any of these spaces. So it's very interesting. It also jumps over pieces. Another piece that jumps over pieces, kind of, is the koi. The koi works in a very interesting way where it can move any number of spaces along a line, but to capture, it has to jump over a piece onto the piece you're trying to capture. So let's say the koi was here, and it wants to capture a piece here, then there would have to be a piece somewhere in between them for the koi to be able to capture this. So let's say there was a tile here. The koi could jump over this tile and capture this one, which is very interesting. I remember thinking the kois were a lot of fun to use, and I still think they will be a lot of fun to use. I think they offer some very interesting strategy. And finally, the final piece that I have actually played with, the knotweed, you play it, and any piece on a surrounding space, I believe, gets returned to the owner's hand. So if it was placed here, my rhododendron would be returned to my hand. The only piece that it doesn't return is the lotus. Just a quick correction, I looked back over it, and the knotweed only returns the piece it's played on top of, not any surrounding pieces. So I was wrong about that, I misremembered. It returns the piece that you play it on, and still it can't be the lotus. Any other piece though, it will return to the owner's hand. And once the knotweed is placed, it can't be returned or captured or anything. It stays there, it's immovable. So it can be used defensively or offensively, and I think it has some cool applications. And then the final piece, which I haven't played with yet, is the lion turtle. And if my understanding is correct, it creates a zone kind of like the rose's movement, but also anywhere in here. And any tile on any of these spaces, this square of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5, anywhere in here, if you try moving through there, you can't essentially. You stop your movement once you hit the zone, and once you're in this zone, your tile can only move one space at a time. And when you're in the zone, the tile can capture no pieces except for the lion turtle that's freezing it. So I remember Human Child said it, and my first impressions as well. It seems very powerful. I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out yet. I don't know why Gold decided to add it. I don't know, I haven't played with it, so I can't give any opinions on it. I just thought the way it was before was pretty well balanced and pretty fun, but there must be something that the lion turtle is trying to balance out that I haven't seen yet. So I'm interested to see how the lion turtle will apply. And while we're waiting for Human Child to take the turn, which I just want to see if I can find an old game, an old Grand Vagabond game, so that I can look over it. Okay, so this is one of my old games of Grand Vagabond against Human Child, and I just kind of want to quickly look over it. We'll see if I have anything interesting to say or anything to add to the video. But I'm the host in this one, and I started by placing a rhododendron. Okay, never mind. So Human Child also placed a rhododendron, then I moved it out, but then realized I can't because I haven't placed my lotus. We're both getting used to the new rules. So instead I placed my lotus, which, yeah, that's something that I don't think will really change from normal Vagabond. I just always want to get my lotus out early. I think it's better to do it early on than waiting. So that's probably will be the next move in my current game of Grand Vagabond. Human Child places a badgermole. I move out my rhododendron because now I can move it with my lotus. Human Child plants a fire lily protected by the badgermole. I plant a koi, and you can see I'm planning to take this badgermole with my koi because it can jump over this fire lily to capture the badgermole. But something to note is that I can't capture yet because both lotuses need to be on the board for capture to be enabled. So I'm just threatening this for when capture green does become enabled. And that kind of puts Human Child in an awkward position because Human Child is going to be the one enabling capturing, and I'm going to have the first move when capturing is on the board. And that's why I always thought being the first one to get your lotus down is good. It's kind of the same idea of ginseng. Being the first one to get your lotus out is nice. I think it works the same way. So Human Child plants another badgermole. I put a jasmine here to try and disrupt any ideas of putting a flower here like a lotus. And also having the Jasmine here is nice because 1, it can't be captured by this Rhododendron, and 2, it can threaten to capture both of these Badgermoles, primarily this one because I'm already threatening this one with my Koi. So Human Child responds by placing a rose here, which as I covered, can capture this Jasmine, and it is protected by this Badgermole because it is a flower tile. So I plant a Fire Lily here. You know, the idea, the typical fortress, putting the Badgermoles here. Human Child plants their dragon, further defending this position. I plant a Bison. Human Child plants a Jasmine, another way to capture this, also protected by the Badgermole. Just another defensive tile in their fortress area. I move out my Bison so that now if it does get frozen by a Chrysanthemum, my dragon will eventually be able to capture it. Same thing with this Koi. If this Koi gets frozen by a Chrysanthemum, my dragon will be able to capture it. Now Human Child decides to plant the Lotus, so now capturing has been enabled. I have some options. I can capture this Badgermole this way, I can capture it this way, I can capture this Badgermole. So I have some options, and I decided to capture this Badgermole this way. The idea being, once Human Child captures this piece, if this piece ever moves again, I'll have this attack once this Badgermole is gone. I believe, if I remember correctly, that was the idea behind this move. Also, actually, no, I think the main idea was, if Human Child decides to capture back, which Human Child can capture with the Rhododendron or the Dragon, then I had this jump to capture back with my Koi if I should so choose to do so. So Human Child captures back with the Dragon, and I do capture the Dragon with the Koi, because I do believe the Dragon is more valuable than the Koi. So I'm happy with this trade. Human Child does capture back by moving out the Rhododendron. I plant my Dragon, and the Human Child has set up this threat with the Koi to capture my Lotus. Actually placing it here so that it is out of range of my Bison. I plant a Jasmine here, which is kind of an interesting move. Now the only piece that this Koi can capture on this line is the Jasmine. So it's not as scary anymore. It's also just nice to have a Jasmine over here. I wouldn't want to place a Badgermole here because then it can be captured by the Koi. And placing a Badgermole here I could do, but I'd rather get another defensive tile here that can capture like the Jasmine. You get 5 Jasmines and they can be pretty good pieces just because you get so many of them and they can capture and they can block. They're very versatile and you have a lot of them. So Human Child, this is a smart move with the Rose, threatening to capture this Bison. I can't just capture this Rose or move this Bison out of the way because then Human Child will have this win. So maybe putting the Badgermole here was probably the better move looking back at it. So this is kind of a tricky position for me and a good move by Human Child. Instead, I put a Jasmine here, the idea being if Human Child captures this Bison, I can capture back with this Jasmine and this jump is still not a threat. Also, Human Child can't just leave this Rose here because I will capture it with my Jasmine. So Human Child does take the Bison, which I think is a good trade for them. I believe the Bison would be more valuable than the Rose. I capture back. Human Child threatens to take my Lotus again with a wheel. This is why probably putting a Badgermole here would have been the better move. I can't put the Badgermole here now though, because if the Koi jumps, it'll just take this Jasmine, not this Badgermole. So I do that, and Human Child plants another Rhododendron, which it's interesting that it works out this way, and is maybe an idea of why putting the Lotus here could be bad. Maybe putting it in the center would be better. Because with the Badgermole in this position, because of the Lotus being here, Human Child is actually able to capture this Badgermole with their Rhododendron, which is scary. So I block this because the Rhododendron cannot jump over pieces. If it wants to capture, it will have to capture this Rose, and if it does, then I am going to capture back with my Dragon. So instead, Human Child is doing a very interesting move by using a Knotweed to take the Rhododendron back and retreat, because I was threatening to capture it with my Rose as well, and block off this gate from being used for the rest of the game, which is very interesting. Now it is my turn, and I plant a Koi here. The idea is threatening this Rhododendron because it is unprotected, but it can be captured back by this Rose, which is something I think I missed earlier when talking about the captures over here, but I just realized this. So yeah, that's what that is doing, and also making it so I can move these Jasmines potentially, and this Koi will not be threatening this Badgermole. Jasmine here to block me. I could capture the Fire Lily, but now that the Dragon is gone, capturing the Fire Lily does very little for me. Something to note though is capturing the fire lily is completely safe for me. I cannot be captured back if I do that. Instead though, I plant a bison, which threatens to capture this wheel. Human child responds by putting in jasmine, so this bison will be captured if I try to capture either of these pieces. I decided to take the wheel anyway. I value the wheel here better than my bison. And human child captures back with the jasmine. Now I plant a wheel doing a kind of fork here, forking the jasmine and this koi, which I think is a good move. And that's something you have to note with Grand Vagabond is because it is no longer such a defensive game, many pieces are up for grabs. Many pieces can be captured. So these forks can happen a lot more often, and there's something you have to watch out for. So Human Child responds with this move, which is interesting. The idea is if I don't move my wheel, then Human Child can capture my dragon. But I believe I do just move my wheel here to capture the free jasmine. And Human Child uses this koi to set up their second koi, which is kind of funny. Do threaten this dragon once again, but I believe I can just move the dragon out of the way. And now both of these kois here are not doing very much, and Human Child has no more kois. Of course, these kois can move. So instead, Human Child sets up a jasmine right here, threatening to capture this badger mole. And another part of this move is if I capture it with the dragon or the rhododendron, then those pieces could be captured by this koi. Human Child is using this kind of cannon here. In the rules, it says the kois move like a cannon in Jianqi, probably terribly mispronouncing that. But I believe that does mean cannon would be the correct terminology here, and I think it fits quite well. Human Child has this cannon set up, and all that they need is a target. So they do set that up. I decide to take because I'm taking 2 tiles for the price of 1. I do value the rhododendrons highly, but I am getting a jasmine and a koi for 1 rhododendron, which I value to be a good trade. Human Child plants another sky bison. I plant a wheel, which is another fork. Like I said, you have to watch out for these in this game. And Human Child threatens this again, which isn't too scary. I don't worry about it. But I decide not to capture this rhododendron because I do value this wheel much more highly than the rhododendron, I believe, at this point, because potentially of these forks. And something to note, like normal Vagabond, I made sure to put these wheels on opposite lines so that they can attack different things and are not stuck on the same line. I believe that is a lot less important in Grand Vagabond, but it is still probably optimal to put them on different lines. Of course, there are going to be some exceptions where you want them on the same line. And I decide to plant a rhododendron instead of capturing my opponent's rhododendron. Human Child does the same, threatening to capture this badger mole. And I not weeded away, also blocking this gate. So I don't really mind these gates being blocked. It makes it a lot harder for Human Child to attack my Lotus Fortress directly. And now it is Human Child's turn. They move out their bison. I move out my rhododendron, threatening their bison. And Human Child plants a wheel, which is potentially a little mysterious with this move. I'm trying to see what it does. I'm not sure what exactly this wheel does. Oh, I see what it does. It sets up this jump. But I decide that I want to take the bison. I believe the bison is more powerful than the rhododendron at this point, potentially. Or it's just an easy way to get out of this threat by Human Child. Human Child casts it back with their rose. I put a rose here to... It's another fork, but this time with a rose, I'm forking the wheel and the koi. These are kind of brutal in Grand Vagabond, I think. There's so many potentials for forks just because pieces are very rarely being protected other than the lotus and a few other flowers next to them. A lot of the time your pieces might be sparse out on the board depending on how you're playing, and it will be very hard to protect all of them. So Human Child responds by putting a jasmine here, but I believe this is a free wheel I will just end up taking. But actually, I value the koi to be better in this case. Oh, actually, no. The idea with the jasmine here is if I take the koi, my rose will be taken by the jasmine. If I take the wheel, my rose will be taken by the koi, which is interesting. I decide the koi is more valuable than the wheel here, and Human Child captures back with their ginseng, or with their jasmine, sorry. I plant a jasmine here, which cannot be captured by anything, but threatens to take this fire lily for whatever reason. Potentially it could set up something like this eventually, you know, but it can capture the fire lily or the rhododendron. Also, the rhododendron is still hanging by this wheel, so if I take with one and human child captures back with the rose, then I can take the rose and end up on top of the capture exchange. So human child does move the rhododendron out of the way. Now I have an interesting move here where I can move this wheel out, potentially create a threat with it, and also threaten this win. I don't remember if this is what I do. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I feel like this is something I would see and do. But I could do this and threaten to take this wheel with my wheel without fear of my wheel being captured, because I have this threat to win, which human child must respond to, and human child can't respond to it while saving their wheel. So let's see what I do. I don't do that, which is a little disappointing. I would have liked to see that. I think that would have been the move. But I don't think this is bad either. Now I'm just kind of overwhelming human child's lotus and their fortress with my jasmines, still protected by this wheel and this other jasmine. Human child captures it with the rose, I capture back with my jasmine, and human child plants a bison. I think I'm probably going to be looking to capture this badger mole. I think the badger moles are very valuable in Grand Vagabond. They're very valuable in regular Vagabond, but I think they're even more valuable in Grand Vagabond because you only get 2, and there's so many more pieces now, and being able to protect your pieces is super important, and only having 2 badger moles makes them very valuable in my eyes. So I take the badger mole, human child takes my jasmine, captures back with her sky bison, I threaten the lotus with my wheel, and human child moves into the range of my other wheel, which ends the game. So yeah, this is Grand Vagabond, and looking back at this game actually made me very excited to play more of this game, because it's a lot of fun, and it's something fresh and new that builds upon the base of Vagabond, which I think is a great base. I think there's a lot of potential there. I just think the original Vagabond game doesn't use it to its full potential, but I think Grand Vagabond uses it excellently and has a lot of potential. So this is just kind of a random video. I just wanted to showcase this game in development a bit because I think it's a lot of fun and has a lot of strategy and has a lot of potential, and I'd love for more people to play it, and I'd love to get more experience at this game and get better at it and get more games of it. If this looked interesting at all, please check out the game dev channels on the Discord and ping me for some games. It's super easy. It's in Playground. All you have to do is get the setup link, which will be available to you in the Discord. Send someone the link and you can play this. You're going to have to know the rules beforehand though, because when making moves, there's no guidelines that show you where they can move. You'll just move them anywhere on the board, but you're going to have to move them legally according to the rules. But honestly, it's not that complicated, especially if you know how to play Vagabond, which I have a video on how to play that on my channel. Then you should be able to pick up Grand Vagabond very easily. I explained all the rules in this video. I think I didn't go super in depth, but with my how to play Vagabond video and this video, you should be able to play this game just fine. The only thing, maybe don't start with the lion turtles. They're a very new addition. I think they were just added like today or a day ago or something. So maybe don't play with those yet. Just try it how it is in this game, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot. I know I did when I played this, and I enjoyed looking back over this a lot actually too. It got me very excited to play more. So I'm looking forward to play more Grand Vagabond. Ping me in the Discord if you ever want a game. I might even make more videos on Grand Vagabond in the future, and I'll probably make more videos about games in development in general. There's been a game that I've been trying to work on. I just haven't really been able to work on it. So that's something I might explore on this channel as well. So yeah, a little bit of a different video, but I hope you still enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you for watching, and bye bye.